Well, hello and welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome to Lighten Up Cooking, where I take a traditional dish and lighten it up by decreasing sugar or carbohydrates or salt or fat without sacrificing taste. Today I'm going to make cornbread, plain and simple cornbread. Now, I am not a big fan of self-rising cornmeal nor the cornmeal mixes, but it's getting harder and harder to find just plain cornmeal, uh, especially the white. So what I had to settle for is yellow cornmeal, which is fine. It still has some ingredients that I'm not exactly fond of, but it's almost impossible to find just plain ground corn, just cornmeal with nothing else added. And I went to most of the grocery stores, Kroger, Walmart, Publix. I even went to Whole Foods, and it's just difficult to find. So I'm going to go with the yellow cornmeal because I like to add my own ingredients. I don't like all of the ingredients that they put in especially the cornmeal mix. So anyway, I wanted to bring you all in a little closer. To my bowl here, I have 2 cups of the yellow cornmeal that I just showed you. And so the whole point of this is to show you that, like when my mom and her generation used to make cornbread, they would use cornmeal and then they would use just some all-purpose flour mixed in with it. So what I want to show you is that you can use alternative flours to mix in with your cornmeal to make cornbread. And so I'm going to use almond flour. I have the Red Box Meal brand. You could also use my bacon blend, which is a mixture of almond flour and coconut flour. That would work as well. So 2 cups of yellow cornmeal and a half of a cup of almond flour. We're going to start with that. And to this I'm going to add just a pinch of Pink's Himalayan salt, about a fourth of a teaspoon of baking soda, two teaspoons of baking powder, and I use the aluminum free baking powder, doesn't matter what brand. 2 teaspoons, 2 or 3, I think I'm gonna do 3. Okay. Now in my skillet, I'm going to put some avocado oil. You could use any oil that you choose, or you could just spray it with some cooking spray. But like I was saying, my mom and her generation, they would put a little oil in the pan and just kind of let that heat up. Probably about a tablespoon or 2. Okay. Now I'm going to just kind of stir my cornmeal and my almond flour together. Now you could add anything you want to add at this point. You could add an egg if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that, but that's perfectly fine to do. And some people like to add sugar to their cornbread. I don't do that, but if you add sugar to yours and you serve it, I'm going to eat it, okay? But instead of using sugar, you could use the sweeteners that I use, the pure granular sweetener with no calories, very, very low in carbs. Or you could use the Splenda Magic Baker, which is 0 calories, and very low in carbs. No sugar. So these would work for your cornbread as well. Okay. That's if you like sugar in yours. Some people do, some people don't. Alright, and I'm using buttermilk, and I just have low-fat cultured buttermilk. But you could use any milk that you like. And you're going to add just enough milk. If you've never made cornbread before, you're just going to add just enough milk to get it all moistened. Just have to determine how much as you go. Add a little bit more. This is probably a cup that I've put in here. So you're just gonna I'm gonna add about another 1/4 of a cup. Okay. Blend that in real good. And then I'm going to take my avocado oil here. And I'm going to do like they used to do back in the day. Just pour it into the batter. So you hear that sizzle, you know it's hot enough. Okay, and give that another stir. And I'm just going to cook it right here on top of the stove. You could put it in the oven and let it bake, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to cook it right here on top of the stove like they did back in the day when they were wanting to cook it real quick. Just like that. And smooth it around a little bit. And just let it sit there. And when it starts to brown around the edges, I'm going to flip it over. Okay, I think it's cooked on one side. So we're gonna that was a close call. But it's flipped. Let it continue cooking on the other side. Okay, the other side is done. So now I'm going to take some unsalted butter and just rub it on the bread. Just kind of let that melt in. Okay. Stove now. Over here. And we're going to cut into it. stuck a little bit. But that's okay. I just wanted you all to see the texture of it. It's just like cornbread should be. Using those the alternative flour blends or almond flour, it doesn't alter the texture. It's kind of falling apart, but that's okay. It doesn't alter the texture at all. And it definitely passes the taste test. It tastes just like you want your cornbread to taste. Just kind of fell apart a little bit, but that's okay. That happens, especially when you're trying to cook it on top of the stove. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, leave me a comment and I will respond. And until next time, share a smile with someone. It will lighten up their spirit and yours too. Bye now.